UFC Paris is just a couple days away now. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm craving for some fight action to take place. I know in the meantime, we've been getting our little DWCS fix, and those fights have been ridiculous. But I think even then, the tease of those fights have made me want to see some official UFC action even more so. All right. So I'm so pumped for this card. Don't forget, we got an early start time. The prelims will be kicking off at noon here in the States in the Eastern time zone. So make sure you adjust to that. And this fight card has really held up, right? There's only one fight that we lost that's worth mentioning. And that was a fight I was looking forward to in Faraz Ziam and Quai Fernandez. Quai Fernandez stays on this fight card. He now takes on the Englishman, Harry Hardwick, who, I'm not going to dive into that fight here in this episode, but I'll let you guys know I am on Quai Fernandez, which we've seen that line right around minus 165 or so. I think that Quai is going to be able to keep that fight standing where he will be the superior striker. We saw the takedown defense looking very sharp against Guram, and I think that he can keep it on the feet here, and I think that he is quite simply the better striker. So that's kind of a simple breakdown for me. I'll say that he wins a decision. I'm gonna say that he outpoints Hardwick. And as far as value on the line, I mean, it's not a bad line on Kwai. Kwai's been looking pretty good. But while we're really here today, I want to dive into some prop bets. All right, some bets that caught my eye for this UFC Paris fight card. Now, these are not going to be my official targets. I have 3 official targets locked in. If you guys want those, you can shoot me an email or DM me on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll give you further information there. But I do like these targets that we're going to talk about. All right, these are specific prop bets. And before we jump into the first target that caught my eye, if you guys can all just smash the like button real quick and subscribe to the channel. If you guys aren't already subscribed, go ahead and do that. It takes nothing but a second, and it really helps me be able to take my channel to the next level, guys. So if you could do that, it's highly appreciated. And with that being said, let's go jump into the first prop target that we're going to go cash in on. Let's take a closer look at this welterweight matchup between Rinat Fakhretdinov and Andreas Gustafson. We know Gustafson is going to be marching forward throughout this fight. He's very aggressive. He's going to be looking to close the distance and work damage through the clinch. That's what he does so well. All right, that's going to open up opportunities for Fakhretdinov to also try to implement one of his better skill sets, which is his wrestling. Okay, the distance will be closed, so we'll see if Fakhretdinov can solidify a couple of takedowns, right? You look back to Gustafson's last loss, and he did get taken down quite a bit against Jalton Lutterbach. Now, he worked back up to his feet at times, but he showed to be a little limited there, and he hasn't really thoroughly been tested since that L when you take a look at the matchups that he's had. He hasn't fought a high-level wrestler. And even if Gustafson doesn't get taken down and he is implementing what he wants to do in the cage and he's holding Rinat against the cage, you still will see a significant amount of time tick off on the clock. And Rinat, even if he's losing the fight, he's going to be crafty. And he's a fighter that's never been finished, and I think that he'll be able to avoid too much damage. He may take some, but I still don't know if Gustafson's going to get him out of there. All right, that's a tall task. And I know Gustafson has been looking good on this 4-fight winning streak with 3 finishes taking place out of the 4. Pat Pitlick, he's not going to be near on the level of a Rinat, in my opinion, especially defensively. And then also in his last bout, Gustafson was not able to finish KS, even with all that damage that he put in on him. He wasn't able to get a finish. Meanwhile, you take a quick look at some of the work that Renat's been doing. He's been stealing these victories. But again, these fights are going to the final bell as well. And he's very tactical. All right, now when things are going good for him, at times he will run through the opposition. But I mean, Kevin Lee, an aged Kevin Lee, what he did to him in the first round, that's not what we're going to see here from Gustafson either. Gustafson is tough and he is very durable. Gustafson's only taken 2 L's as a pro, and they are both by way of decision against decently respected talent outside of the UFC. Neither of these fighters have ever been finished. I think you guys know where I'm going with this one. This is a fight that I like to make it to the final bell. I like this fight going the distance. As you look through the entire card, this one stands out to me. And that's not to say that we still won't see decent action taking place. I just think that both of these men are very durable, very tough, and they're both fighting at a very high level. And I think that they avoid being finished on both sides. And you take a look at the line, you can catch this right around -170. I don't think that that line's that steep. I think that this is a pretty safe target here, no matter who's the victor, which I've been a little torn on who I want to go with there. But I have settled in with that Gustafson pick. I do like him to win it, but this is a step up in competition for him. We'll see how he looks. Don't be surprised if he gets put on his butt a little here and there, but I think that he will work back up to his feet. But time will be ticking, and this fight makes it to the final bell. Now, what a moment this is for Ante Delija as he gets his first opportunity to fight inside the octagon. Also, getting an opportunity to get redemption on Marcin Tybura as Delija broke his right leg the first time they fought way back in the day in M1. And Delija has since went on to have a decent amount of production over in the PFL. Tybura, you guys know, he's established himself as a very respectable UFC heavyweight fighter. Okay, he moves a little slowly in there, but he's very well rounded, and he has consistently got his hand raised throughout the years. And I've seen a lot of you guys feeling that Tybura is the side to be on. If you caught my full prediction video, I did side with Delija. I think that he has real potential to land a knockout in this fight with his hands. I do like the speed advantage he has there, and he has decent power in his hands. And I know he's been going out there knocking out lower level opponents compared to a Tybura. When you're talking Jorgen De Castro or even a Matthias Scheffel, Renan Ferreira, who was once respected until Francis Ngannou went over there and did what he did to him. But I mean, there's been a good amount of knockouts that you can bring up, while you can also mention when he loses fights, there's been some suspect L's where he's getting finished up in the first round. The first time he faced off against Bruno Capoloza, he was finished very quickly. And even in his last loss, which was recent, he got finished up in the first round by Valentin Maldovsky. Okay, you take a look at his losses overall. He's even shown vulnerability to grappling at times, and we've seen him put on his back. He makes mistakes there. And Tybura, he's a well-rounded fighter. So I think that it's also possible that Tybura can get him out of there. I mean, you take a look at the numbers. Delija has been finished in 5 of his 6 losses. When things don't go his way, he tends to not make it to the final bell. All right. So, and I'll also mention Tybura has somehow put his chin back in order, but back in the day, he was getting knocked out left and right, and he still has taken damage even as of recently, but he kind of marches through it. I think that it's very likely that we see a KO here coming from either side, but where I'm going to go with this is I like this fight to hit the under 2.5 rounds. I think that this fight should end, but by the time we get there, and you take a look at the line there, it's not really too much of a reach. I mean, you could look to just play this fight to end inside the distance, but I would go for the under 2.5 rounds. Try to get a little bit better value there. If you see a finish in the last half of the 3rd round, you got to kind of just eat that, right? We've all been there, but this is one that kind of stands out to me. I think that we see a finish in this heavyweight clash. And then at 155, we have, without a doubt, one of the best fights of the card. BSD takes on Mauricio Ruffy. Ruffy is looking to get a number next to his name. He is such a phenomenal striker. It's such a treat to watch, and he's going to be very live to land a knockout against BSD, who gets overly aggressive at times. Ruffy has had a knockout in 9 of his 12 victories, and he's coming off one of the greatest knockouts that we've ever seen in the octagon. What he did to King Green was ridiculous. With this one, I think there's a couple different ways you can go. I want to highlight a couple targets that you guys may like here. At first I want to say it's hard for me to see this fight going the distance, but it's not out of the realm. And the main route I would see happening if this fight goes the distance is maybe BSD avoids that one shot KO, and he can kind of push the pace and take over this fight, mixing in some grappling. I think that it is a realistic possibility. All right, so just keep an eye on that. Most likely, I think that Ruffy is going to get the KO, though. I think that BSD is going to put himself in a vulnerable position, and we're going to see Ruffy snipe him. And even if he doesn't just get that flatline knockout, you may see an accumulative amount of damage where the doctors have to step in. It's not like we haven't seen that before in the same arena with BSD making bad decisions in there and just putting himself out there, and Ruffy will land damage on you. But take a look at a couple of these lines. The under 1.5 you can catch right around plus 130. You can get that at plus odds. I don't mind that. I think Ruffy can get that KO, and don't overlook the fact that BSD can get a finish. I mean, he's a high level grappler, and we've seen Ruffy KO'd before as well. And BSD is very aggressive. Don't forget Ruffy's lone loss; he was KO'd in that one there. I wanted to take a look at BSD to win via decision. I think that there is value on a line like this, which you can catch right around plus 370. You could have got it at around plus 410. I think that that is a value play. It's not my most likely scenario that this fight goes this route, but when you're talking just straight value, if BSD avoids the knockout, I think he's a lot more live to win this fight than he's getting credit for. And I would say, I believe that the most likely path to victory for him would be a decision. Okay. And he'll have the crowd behind him and all that. So, I mean, there's some value on that line there. And then let's just take a look at this. This is one that I really like as well. Maybe this is the one I like the most. Ruffy to win this fight via KO. Okay. Because that's how I see the fight going down. If I have to make a final selection, if you can get plus odds next to that target, I think that you're doing pretty good there. And at the very least, you compare it to the money line, and that line comes down significant when you're looking at him. Ruffy has a minus 180 to getting it down to about even odds. And I think that the KO it's very likely to happen. So I guess that's my favorite one there, depending on one of those three targets. You probably like one of them. Comment below. Tell me which one seems the best to you there. And while you're at it, comment below your favorite target for the event. It could be any bet that you have. It could be a money line play. It could be a parlay, a prop bet like we were talking about here today. Hit us up with the prop bet. But guys, hit that comment section up below. I love to dive in to your guys' targets. Okay. So don't be shy. I'll meet you guys in the comment section. And you guys have a great event. Make sure you guys cash big. And you'll be seeing me on the screen here very soon, as we got a lot more action to talk about. DWCS is taking place this Tuesday. We'll have that video pumped out to you guys real quick. And then, of course, we have UFC Noche 3 coming up. And we'll make sure we get some real good content coming your guys' way for that one. And that's a card where we will have some big targets. And don't forget, guys, I have 3 official targets for Paris. If you guys are interested, reach out to me. All right, guys.